What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, and I'm back with another video, man. And you already know what I need you to do. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, because it does go a long way with helping out the channel, man. If this is your first time, welcome to Hold My Nuts podcast, where we talk about everything semen retention and no fap. If you already been rocking with your boy, you already know the love is real, man. I really appreciate you rocking with me, man. And like I told you guys in all of my videos, this is special because no one knows about this channel, man. It's only me and the people who tune in via YouTube, man. So I really appreciate it. I wanted to keep this channel authentic and real. Didn't want to force this on anyone. So everyone who's gravitating to it, all praise be to the Most High. So let's get into the video, man. Let's get into the video. So as you can see from the title, it's called While She Bathed. Okay. And this title is pointing to a story in the Bible about King David. Everybody knows about King David. You'd be hard pressed to find a person who has never heard about King David. And I want to show you guys how this story ties in to what we're doing on semen retention. Guys, we're retaining. We are using our seed for righteous causes. We're not just, dissipating the seed and just becoming lower and lower vibrational beings, man. We're not just out here just giving it away for free for whatever we are trying to retain. We are retaining, and we're looking for that higher purpose in life. All right. So I want to go ahead and chop into this video and kind of show you David's life and see how this can relate to us and what we have going on in our daily lives, and see if we can get some application out of it, man. So as you probably already know, King David was king of Israel. He's the one who slayed Goliath. He killed Goliath, and he was a mighty warrior, man. And God blessed him and, elevated him to be king of Israel years later after he had that amazing victory over the Philistines. And, David was an interesting character, man, because the Bible says he was a man after God's own heart. But when you look at his life, it was it was brittled with a lot of transgressions, a lot of different things he did. But yet he was a man after God's own heart. But this particular story, we're talking about King David one night saw Bathsheba. She was bathing. Yes, that's why the title's called While She Bathed. Okay. She was bathing. She was doing her thing. He saw her from wherever he was, right? He had a pretty good view of Bathsheba. And according to the text, according to the story, she was right. She was bad. She was all the terms that we would use to describe a beautiful woman. She had all of those adjectives. She had all of those superlatives, so to speak, in regards to her physical appearance. She was gorgeous. She was beautiful. She was fine. She was hot. She was whatever type of term you can think of to describe her. She had it. She was bad. Understand that. Okay. And the reason we know she was bad is because of what lengths King David went in order to lie with her, to sleep with her. Okay. So what I want you to really understand before we get into this story is David sees Bathsheba bathing. Okay. That wasn't the problem. As men, we're going to be faced with temptations every day, every week, every month. Our culture is so saturated with over-sexualization of everything that it's impossible for us not to be tempted with these sexual temptations. It's just impossible. Okay. You can't go, live in your closet, lock the door, eat 3 meals a day and drink water. You just can't live like that. You have to get out. You have to meet people. You have to do business. Sometimes you have to do business with people that are very attractive. Sometimes you have to, you have to live your life, right? So you can't escape temptation. You can't escape it. Okay. You don't have to give into it, but you can't escape temptation. Okay, so David sees Bathsheba bathing. Obviously, she's naked, right? And she has all the goodies that will cause a man to be excited. But it wasn't the fact that David saw her bathing. That wasn't the issue, because he couldn't help, being out on his rooftop, and he's just doing his thing, whatever he was doing that night, and he just happens to stumble across a beautiful woman bathing in the comfort of her own home. Okay. He saw it. Okay. That wasn't the issue. The issue is when he began to meditate on what he saw. He engulfed himself in what he saw. He looked at her and stayed looking, stayed staring. He fantasized. He went on a mental journey of what it could be. Not only that, King David had the power to bring these fantasies into existence. He had the power to bring these fantasies into existence. So it wasn't a temptation where he was like, oh man, I wish I could knock that down. I can try. Maybe I get some, maybe I don't. He had the power to bring it about because he was king. So this is an extra level of weight that's added on him because he can actually do this. And sometimes we're in situations where we can do it too. We get presented with some temptation and we can make it happen. All we have to do is say yes. So the problem wasn't that David saw Bathsheba. The problem was David meditated. David engulfed himself. David focused. David fantasized on Bathsheba. This was the lust. Maybe a week ago, I did a video on lust, your biggest hindrance on semen retention. That's why I said you guys have to go on a fast if you want to retain. If you want to retain that seed, because it's not just about, yes, we have to stay away from the sexual appetite because it's just wrong, right? To use it in an inappropriate way. Sex isn't wrong. Sexual desire isn't wrong. It's the use of it that is wrong. Okay. So David has this lust in his heart for this woman who belongs to another man. So I want to show you the dangers of lust. I want to show you the dangers of lust and what it can lead to. So check this out. So David, calls for his right-hand man. He's like, yo, listen, go get her and tell her that I request her presence and bring her to me. I can only imagine what his right-hand man was thinking. Like, why you want me to go get Uriah's wife and bring her to you? He probably seen her bathing naked too, because he's probably in the same proximity with David. Obviously, he had to be. He's like, dang, you want me to go grab her? He's like, yeah, go grab her. Bring her back. I'm the king. So old man, he goes, knocks on the door, whatever. The king requests your presence. Get your stuff. Let's go. They go get her. They bring her back to King David. And he pipes her down. He pipes her down. He sleeps with her. He pipes her down. This is all while her husband is fighting a war for Israel. He's engaged in a battle, fighting for the nation's freedom. King David doesn't care. It's because the lust is driving him. How many times has lust driven us to do things that we know we shouldn't do? Lust has driven us to do the same thing David did, sleep with someone else's wife. Lust has driven us to sleep around with women. Lust has driven men to a lot of hideous things, rape and child sex trafficking. This is all rooted in lust. You got women, girls, and boys being sex slaves, being trafficked all over the world because of lust. People can't control the lust. Lust is a deadly poison. So let's get back to the story. So he goes, he brings Bathsheba, he sleeps with her, he sends her back. A few weeks later, he gets the word, yo, Bathsheba, she missed her period. She pregnant. David begins to panic. So he says, yo, listen, go get Uriah. Bring him back. I want you to, bring him back home. Have him go sleep with his wife. Give him a break. Go get him. So they go get him. They go get him off the battlefield. Boom, boom. King David requests you. He needs you to go back, be with your wife, and blah, blah, blah. So he comes, he meets with King David. David is trying to convince this man to go back home and be with his wife. Uriah, being a righteous man, was like, nah, man, I can't let my boys die out there in the battlefield while I'm home, partaking in the goodies of this beautiful young thing the Lord has given me. I have to put that on hold because I have to fight for Israel's freedom. I can't let my men out there suffer and die when they sacrifice, and I'm a sacrifice with them. So David, I know David understood that because he was a man of battle himself. So Uriah wasn't giving in to King David's plan. He was stubborn because he was a righteous man. He was going to fight for Israel. David was like, nah, bro. Okay. So, David kept trying to come up with these different plans to get him to go back to sleep with Uriah. Got him drunk and fed him up real good one day and told him to go back and sleep with his wife, go back, be with his wife. The next morning, he found Uriah on the doorstep, passed out. He was like, he couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, he has to fight. So Uriah talks to whoever the general was or the army. He was like, okay, listen, I'm going to send you back to battle. I'm going to send you back into battle. So David writes a decree to put Uriah on the front lines. And when he's on the front lines, to have the army withdraw so Uriah could be killed. Okay? So David writes this decree up and then he signs it with the king's seal. He said, take this back to the battlefield and give it to your commanding officer. Yes, my lord. So Uriah goes back to battle. He hands the decree, which was his death sentence, gives it to the man, and he follows the king's orders. Puts Uriah on the front line, has the army, the front line withdraw, leaving Uriah out there by himself. Uriah gets killed. When Uriah dies, and the king gets word, David goes and he gets Bathsheba, and he makes Bathsheba his wife. So I want you, let's understand what lust has done. Lust is one, caused this man to sleep with this other man's wife while her husband was out at battle fighting for him and the nation's freedom. Two, it caused David to actually murder this man because he had to keep up this line. He had to cover up the fact that he had got her pregnant. And it led to adultery and it led to murder. This is what lust does. Now, this is not just for King David. This is for us too. We get caught up in this too in our own personal lives. We can't judge King David. After all, it says he was a man after God's own heart. But when we are recklessly just giving away our seed, fapping, porn, just doing all these different things, chasing girls and doing all these different things, and we're just reckless. We're being controlled by our lust. This is the type of stuff that can happen. This is the type of stuff that can happen. So David brings her. Now Bathsheba is his wife. Now they have a son. So they sent the prophet to David. The prophet went to David because God had, let him know what was going on, and kind of gave him a story about a rich king, a rich man and a poor man. And the rich man took the poor man's lamb, and that was the only lamb he had. And, he made it kind of like a symbolic story. David says this man should be killed when he got word. And then Nathan turns around and says, well, you are the man. You killed Uriah. You took his wife. And then David, he realized what he had done. He repented. And then the Lord said the sword would be a part of his family for the rest of his life. His son died. His son Absalom died. Like he had a lot of things going on in his household as a result of that sin that he committed. So the moral of the story is, guys, we have to control that beast. We have to control lust. If you're out here fapping every day, jizzing all over your laptops and keyboards, computer screens, TVs, remote controls, bed sheets, socks, lotion splattered everywhere, whatever you're doing, man, you are creating a habit within yourself that gets stronger and stronger every single day. You're feeding that beast. You're feeding that beast every day, and it gets stronger and stronger. And the temptations get bigger and bigger. And the bigger these temptations are, the more implications they have in our personal lives. A lot of us have to endure a lot of things because we couldn't control lust, right? Because we couldn't control it. So I want you to think about your life right now. I want you to think about the temptations that are surrounding you right now, at the present moment, that you right now have the power to prevent from happening. You can turn this lady away because she already sold up, but she's being a Jezebel. She's willing to sleep around her husband just to be with you, right? She wants to bring that indignation. She wants to bring that curse upon you. She wants to mess you up. You reap what you sow, right? She wants to bring that into your life, right? But if you are not on your A game, and like I told you guys before, you got to walk in the spirit so you don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. And you give into that temptation, it's a lot of things that could come upon you. You can end up getting killed because dudes don't play when it comes to that, man. Cats will not relent. The Bible says they will not accept the bribe. It's a lot of things you can deal with. You can end up having kids out of wedlock and being on child support and, getting a girl pregnant just all because of a one-night stand. And now you're on the hook for a financial obligation that you'll never be able to get rid of. It's a lot of different things that can throw us off course of our destiny. But we can prevent these things if we learn how to control the sexual energies and use it in a righteous way. We just have to use it in a righteous way. There's nothing wrong with having a desire for a woman, but we have to use it within the framework of which God provides, because that's the only way. Otherwise, we get what we have now. We get a lot of thoughts. We get a lot of women half dressed and just doing all these different things to get attention from men. And we as men, we are giving into it. And then we're losing our masculinity. Our testosterone is going down. We don't have the energy to do the things that we need to do. We can't accomplish our goals. We can't build these big businesses. We can't go out and show other people how to do this because we're so focused on releasing a nut. Guys, we got to hold these nuts, baby. We got to hold these nuts. We have to live this righteous life, man. Because it's much better. The fruits of the righteous life is way better than the fruits of the life of the broad path. That fruit is bitter. When David, the pleasure of what he did, he enjoyed that. He was able to fulfill a sexual desire. But the fruit of it that he had to eat of was bitter. It was bitter. He lost a child. He got shamed in front of the prophet. The sword was in his household for the rest of his life. The fruit of it was bitter. It was bitter. And just like when we partake in porn, when we partake in all these different things, the energy that we lose, that's a bitter fruit. depression, stress, anxiety, not being able to think and make good decisions as a result of losing all of that zinc, losing all of those natural ingredients that we need in order to be the men that we want to be. That's bitter fruit. Having opposition from opposing males for doing foul things, that's bitter fruit. Having kids from several different women, that's bitter fruit. Now, here's the thing. If that's you, this is not a judgment. This is just to say, let's stop the bleeding. Let's turn and go another way. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's turn and go another way. Guys, if you watch my video on fasting, sometimes you got to fast in order to get to where you need to be. God will honor your fast if you do it from the heart, from the core of your heart, and you really mean it. He'll honor that. Real men are righteous, man. We got to be righteous. Hold that seed. Retain that seed. Not only when you hold the seed, it's not that you're just withholding from all these sexual temptations, but you're actually getting internal benefits from it. You're stronger. You're more masculine. You're more aggressive. Soak up these benefits, man, that the Most High has given us. Don't let the world take it away from you to bring you to your knees. Don't let the world take it away from you to bring you to your knees, man. This is Hold My Nuts Podcast. Hope you enjoyed this video, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next video, man. Peace.